It was a dark, dank day in Tacoma. It was the kind of day that made you wish for the pleasure of being pissed on by a feral alley cat after being mugged by a pro skirt with a wooden leg. I was trying to numb the weather's gloominess by drowning my mood in milk when the phone rang. It was Vlog Tag. Somebody important to her was missing. A high society type by the name of Helen Abbott. I knew the name. Helen was one of the Sundays. The Sundays were a powerful couple in the British Mafia. They ruled the streets of the East Side with not one, but two iron fists. I hesitated. The job didn't smell right. Still, it was a case, and employment was scarcer than talent in a Justin Bieber song. What worried me, though, was that voice on the phone. Vlog Tag. I'd found out over a year ago that the dame's real name was Nikki. How did I find out? A mook by the name of Tharg told me, right before he had me put a bullet between her eyes. When my sources told me she was active again, I figured somebody's just started using a dead dame's name. I was wrong. This was her voice, all right. And as much as I'd tried to convince myself otherwise, I'd seen her mug around town. How had Nikki come back from the dead? And why would she hire the very man who shot a hole in a noggin? It was suspicious. I decided to make a call. A news hawk by the name of Bobby Jones owed me a couple favors. He worked for the Green Brothers, a couple of high-profile media businessmen with their grassroots in the underworld. It was Bobby's job to know things. I asked him to put some feelers out, see what he could dig up on Nikki or Vlog Tag or whatever she was going by these days. Then I headed out the door. The first place I hit was Madame V's, a brothel down by Horner Street. That was where I'd find Jimmy the Snitch. Jimmy wasn't his real name, of course, but a fake moniker wasn't exactly unusual in this part of town. Most of the locals thought Jimmy was just a nut. He was, but if you knew how to crack him, he'd spill nuggets of information like it was Christmas and he was my dear old gran. Provided, of course, you could get him to shut up about the bim he banged a few years back. I knew the secret ingredient. All Jimmy needed to loosen up was a bottomless barrel on somebody else's dime.
I may just know where your lady is, but if you want my advice, Peeper, you'll drop the case before you get us all killed.
That bothered me. Jimmy used to work deep cover stuff across the lake. A comment like that meant he was scared. When Jimmy says drop it, you don't just drop it. You bury it deep as you can. Then you change your name, cut all ties, and get out of town faster than a John who ain't had none in years. Just tell me where to look, Jimmy. Make this easy, I'll leave some extra scratch with the barkeep.
You already know where to look. You just don't want him to glom a look-see at your ugly mug.
I knew exactly who he was talking about. Most disappearances in town could be traced to the same mook I'd been avoiding since the whole Nikki fiasco went down. Tharg. Tharg was a local crime lord, and a powerful, scary one at that. He'd forced me to be his button man with the Vlog Tag broad, and I'd managed to keep under his radar ever since. But I'm a dick on a case, and a suspect is a suspect. There was no backing down now. You sure it's him?
A better question would be, who's hiring you, Dick? Word on the street is the bim who's paying you to dance in the center of a target is supposed to be a corpse.
Job's a job, unless you've got any hard info on our dearly departed dame.
Your lost meal ticket was taken by a wrong number with a hood over his face. If it wasn't Tharg, it was one of his cronies.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy.
One more thing you should know.
He took a long swig of his favorite poison.
He's here.
Thanks, Jimmy. Enjoy your drink.
I'll do my best. But if you survive, remember that I prefer my poison shaken. This stirred rubbish is just shit.
Everybody knew Tharg had a private office at Madame V's. He and the V were business partners. I made sure my Roscoe was loaded and headed into Tharg's lair.
Welcome, detective.
His voice came from behind me. My stomach dropped into my shoes, and my whole body went as cold as my ex-wife's mother. Hello, Tharg.
I haven't seen you in over a year, detective. I'm beginning to think you might be avoiding me.
Just keeping a low profile, Tharg. You did have me put that dame in the dirt, after all.
Well now, I prefer to say that she just went home.
You can call her a paper gangster for all I care. I'm here for Helen Abbott. Word is, you have her.
Oh, very direct. You've grown bolder since our last encounter.
The way I see it, only one of us is leaving here without a slug in his noodle. So why play patty cake?
So eager to die, Detective?
Just tell me where she is.
All right then. I don't have her.
Come on, Tharg. I've threatened you. And we all know how long lugs who threaten you last. So where's the villainous monologue?
Well, the monologue is my favorite part of being a villain, but I'm afraid you're a little confused. You really have no idea what's going on here, do you?
Why don't you fill me in? Or are you afraid I'll escape your evil trap?
No, I think I'll leave you in the dark. It will be so much more fun for you to find out when the time is right. In the meantime, you may leave this room alive. I'll give you a head start before I send my minions after you.
What if I just shoot you now?
I'm not worried. If you had the courage to shoot me, you would have done it when I told you to kill the vlog tag girl. Besides, in case you haven't noticed, people you shoot don't tend to stay dead.
He was right on both counts. I decided to cut my losses and make like a tree. I'd made the wrong move, and it was time to get gone. Somewhere far away from hooded crooks and the living dead. I left Madame V's knowing my days were numbered. That's when I heard a voice I hadn't heard in years.
Hey, quick, this way.
Melissa was a twist I knew from better days. Back then, cases paid better, and a dead broad was a dead broad.
Come on.
At least, I think so. Lucky for me, Melissa never had to test that theory.
Heard you was putting your mug out on the line again?
Guy like me can't hide forever.
Not too bright going up against Tharg in person like that. Who you think you are, Michael Buckley?
That's when my phone rang. Hang on a sec. It was Jones.
I think we're being followed.
I got your answers. She's not who you think she is. Her real name's...
As Melissa's body slumped to the ground, I knew she wouldn't be getting back up again. Still, a part of me hoped it was possible, especially once I saw who put two in her chest. Nikki.
Sorry, Gumshoe. I'm Vicky.
A better question will be, who's hiring you?
No idea what's going on here.
Who's hiring you?
Vicky. I'd never seen Madame V in person before, but I knew her by reputation. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I never would have believed she looked so much like her sister.
Tag, Nikki. I'm it.